Hello, students. Let's talk about a literary term, and the literary term which we are going to discuss is irony. IRONY, irony. Irony is a form of speech in which the actual intent is expressed in words that carry the opposite meaning. It means that we say something and we mean just the opposite of it. That is called irony. In Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, Antony's insistence during his oration over the dead Caesar that Brutus is an honorable man is an example of irony. What Antony wants to say is that Brutus is not an honorable man, but he says just the opposite. But his meaning is opposite, is very quite different from what he says. Characteristically, irony uses words of praise to imply blame and words of blame to imply praise. So it is just the opposite thing. If somebody is praising you, it might mean a real praise. But if it is an irony or if it is an ironical statement, then it means that he or she is blaming you. And if they are blaming you and if their statement is ironical, if the intention is opposite, then it means that they are praising you. Their blame is only just a kind of joke or just a kind of joke. So Oliver Goldsmith, Jane Austen, and William Makepeace Thackeray, these were the writers who frequently used irony. However, Jonathan Swift's modest proposal for preventing the children of poor people in Ireland from being a burden to their parents is perhaps the most sustained piece of ironic writing in English literature. Now, irony, let's elaborate a little bit that how is it written and how does a statement become an irony. So it is basically a humorous, humorous perception of inconsistency in which an apparently straightforward statement or event is undermined by its context so as to give it a very different significance. The significance changes. It means what is said in the statement, the significance of that is something else. In various forms, irony appears in many kinds of literature, from the tragedy of Sophocles to the novels of Jane Austen and Henry James, but is especially important in satire, as in Voltaire and Swift. At its simplest, in verbal irony, irony, there are various forms of various kinds of irony. For example, verbal irony in somebody's words, in somebody's language. Structural irony used as a device, as a narrative device. And then dramatic irony and tragic irony, cosmic irony, these are the different kinds of irony. At its simplest in verbal irony, it involves a discrepancy between what is said and what is really meant. Verbal irony means that what is said is meant just the opposite of that. Means we want to say something, but we say the opposite of it. That is verbal irony. And as far as structural irony is concerned in literature, it involves the use of a naive or deluded hero or unreliable narrator whose view of the world differs widely from the true circumstances recognized by the author and readers. Structural irony means a narrative device, irony used as a narrative device in literature, in a piece of literature, in a novel or in a play, in which heroes or protagonists or any character's viewpoint about things, his perception, his or her perception about things, is actually not the real state of things. The real state of things is just the opposite to the perception of that character's viewpoint. Now, the readers and audience, they are aware of the real situation. They are aware what is the actual condition, and they are also aware that a certain character does not know about it, or the certain character's viewpoint is quite the opposite to the real condition or the real state of things. So this is structural irony, which is part of the structure of a particular literary work. Then comes then in structural irony, literary irony thus flatters its reader's intelligence at the expense of a character or fictional narrator. A similar sense of detached superiority is achieved by dramatic irony, in which the audience knows more about a character's situation than the character does, foreseeing an outcome contrary to the character's expectations, and thus ascribing a sharply different sense of some of the character's own statements. In tragedies, this is called tragic irony. Now, dramatic irony, just like the structural irony, in particular in drama, in a play, when the audience know more about a situation than the character actually does, the character is not so much aware of a particular situation as much as the audience, because audience, they see every scene, they watch every scene, and they observe every character's thoughts and emotions in the forms of soliloquies. So they are more aware than a particular character, because a particular character is not supposed to know the thoughts and actions of all characters of that play or that drama. So that is why it is the audience who know more about than that character. So now the irony which arises from this situation is called dramatic irony. And when a play is a tragedy, when a drama is a tragedy, it is called this dramatic irony is called tragic irony, in which the character is not aware of the potential tragedy which is going to happen with him, or the result of his actions are not truly judged beforehand by him before committing certain crimes or certain things. So irony then is called tragic irony in that situation. And then there is cosmic irony, which is sometimes used to denote a view of people as the dupes of a cruelly mocking fate, as in the novels of Thomas Hardy. A writer whose works are characterized by an ironic tone may be called an ironist. So cosmic means belonging to a mysterious world, belonging to the world of natural forces, which is out of the reach of human being. It means when human beings do not have control over that thing, that is called cosmic, which belongs to the domain of God, which is controlled by God or unknown natural forces. So in the novels of Thomas Hardy, we see that various characters often become the victims of the unknown forces of nature and unknown forces, cosmic forces, where human being does not